So I also work with two well-known quantum physicists. One is Stuart Hameroff in the US in Arizona, and the other is Kunio Yasue in Japan. And all of us are working on consciousness and let's call them higher levels of consciousness. Those are the words that they would use. Now, in their terms in quantum physics, the actual point in which that person appeared to you in that valley appeared to me and my partner at the time is already existing. And in a sense, everything is simultaneously existing. If you want to visualize, feel this as you're listening, imagine a whole stack of pancakes being all the dimensions, all the way from our dimensional existence through to fifth dimension, through to 12th and beyond, right? So you've got all those pancakes stacked up simultaneously. So the moment that you actually were able to connect to him and me to the valley, we're actually tapping into a higher level of what is currently coexisting, almost like parallel worlds, but that those coexisting levels of consciousness, for whatever reason, you elevated your consciousness, let's say to a fifth dimensional level, and just were instantly able to see and connect with beings that are real fifth dimensional beings and that are coexisting there with you right at that point. So in that sense, it's very real on a fifth dimensional level, and it would be the same with that Bale or Hidden Valley. For some reason, we were able to tap right into that fifth dimensional coexistence of a space that in fact is already there in that. And if you are able to connect to that higher level of consciousness, then you're able to walk through the portal, as it were. Now, so an interesting, example, life example of this was with Kunio Yasue, and as I mentioned, he's a friend of mine, and I've done a lot of research with him on his new research center called Dreams Come True in Japan, which is looking at what lies beyond, in terms of higher dimensions in quantum physics, what could you actually research? Now, he is aiming to build this center, and he took me to the space on a dragon portal. So he walked me in Japan to this place. And of course, dragons and portals are well known to, Chinese, Japanese, to the whole Asian perspective of how the universe operates. And hundreds of years ago, in this exact place where he took me, generations of Japanese royalty knew that this area had this opening to dragon consciousness. And so they built it, and it was kept secret. It was built in a very humble way so that people wouldn't think there was anything extraordinary about it. So he had identified this and he said lots of craft and lots of other beings would actually gather around this point. And when he took me there, it was like I was actually standing on a vortex similar to in Sedona. I didn't feel anything at all walking up to it. And then suddenly when I was in the middle of the space, and it's right in the middle of this Tokyo, this top secret place, and at the moment it's just a car park, which is run or owned by a very wealthy multimillionaire who lives in this humble little tiny cottage right next to the dragon portal because he knows the lineages that have held that dragon space for so many years. And when I went there, it was like, whoa, it was like actually literally being uplifted because I've done a lot of research with different scientists, including Zenka Caro, who runs LightNet in Sedona, into going and experiencing different vortexes that have been revealed by scientists as having these, let's call them higher dimensional frequencies. So it was exactly the same in Japan. And he got extremely excited about the fact that in some way or another, this was going to be the site of his research center, Dreams Come True. And he's completely tapped into that dragon consciousness as being crucial for the unfolding of higher dimensional research facilities.